Get ready to hear the truth about America on a show that's not immune to the facts with your host, Dan Bongino.
Just wonderful. These media people, Joe. These media people, the set on them, I almost have to admire the Washington Post and New York Times. Don't you go anywhere. They are in. Don't even. I haven't introduced you yet. Joe's not here yet. No laughing in the background. They are in full Stalin-like Pravda mode, and it is hysterical watching these lunatics meltdown. All right, welcome to the Dan Bongino Show. Producer Joe, I didn't even know you were there. How are you today? Just pause. How you doing, buddy?
Now,
yes, you can go now. Everybody.
How you doing? It's good to be with you.
Oh man, it's just watching the media, folks. I've got a absolutely, positively stacked with a capital S show for you today. The media is freaking out, and it's now becoming transparently obvious. They are in full cahoots with the Democrats, waiting for this Inspector General report to come out in a full panic. It's all going to make sense. I got that.
Yeah.
Got a great video by Congressman Matt Gaetz of Adam Schiff you're not going to want to miss. Got an Elizabeth Warren video that's going to make you laugh at the end. Stack lineup. Let's get right to it. Today's show brought to you by our buddies at Genucel. Genucel's the last week for the summer inventory clearance sale from Chamonix for a limited time. When you order Genucel's jawline treatment, you will get the classic Genucel for bags and puffiness free. That's right, free today. It's a very popular product in the Bongino household. We love it. Here's Beverly from Huntsville, Alabama, raving about the results she saw with Genucel. OMG, love this product. Saw a difference almost immediately. Would recommend it to everyone if they have a problem with the jawline. All Genucel products are amazing. Time to stock up on the best skincare and try the luxury and effectiveness of the Genucel at the best prices of the year. Results guaranteed or 100% of your money back, no questions asked. And to start seeing results in 12 hours or less, got a date or something? Go with Genucel immediate. It's immediate effects, which is also free. Order now in their legendary collagen builder for that long-term collagen production. And it's also free. Go to Genucel.com and enter Dan30 at checkout. That's 3 free gifts with your order. Order now and upgrade to free priority shipping. Go to Genucel.com, enter Dan30, that's Dan30 at checkout. That's Genucel.com, Genucel.com, Genucel.com. All right, Joe, let's go. A little hiccup there in the middle of that bell. Okie dokie, doggy daddy, if you were a true romance fan. So, folks, as we walked through yesterday and what was our most listened to Monday show ever in the history of the Dan Bongino show, we walked you through the Democrats are in a panic. They are trying to cover up their foreign collusion in the Spygate scandal, the foreign collusion with the Obama administration, with the UK, with the Australians, with the Ukrainians, with the Russians. It's all about to come out in the Inspector General's report and the subsequent John Durham investigation. And the Democrats desperately need to discredit everybody involved. And they need to do what I described yesterday as the dipsy-do flipperoo. So what we're going to get in the Inspector General's report is the Obama administration, Democrats, Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden colluded with foreign actors to spy on Donald Trump. Got it? Get it? Got it? Good. Now, of course, the Democrats, these lying fool hacks and their media sycophantic bootlicking buddies can't have a story that says Democrats spy on political opponents. So what do the Democrats and their media buddies do? They just reverse it. Trump colluded with foreigners to get his political opponents. Now, of course, you know, the New York Times is probably in on a lot of these meetings, or the Washington Post with their focus groups, right? So they're trying to figure out a way to discredit the truth, which is Obama spied. And what was that thing? Bush lied, people died. You know,
people died.
Obama spied, the Trump campaign didn't die. That should probably be the new narrative going forward. So let's start with the New York Times. You like that? New York Times first. I got 2 of these, and I'm gonna elaborate because this is it's so transparent what they're doing. Here's the slimes, the sleazy conspiracy theory rag by Mark Mazzetti and Katie Benner. Trump pressed Australian leader to help Barr investigate Mueller inquiry's origins. The discussion was another instance of the president using American diplomacy for potential personal gain.
What is
this? This is the New York Times. Guys, I genuinely feel bad for you if you are getting your news, dreaded air quotes, from the New York Times. It's a sleazy, two-bit conspiracy theory rag that runs interference for the Democrats. What is really going on here? What is the origin, genesis of that headline? And why did the New York Times choose to write this story? Okay, the New York Times, number one, got burned for promoting the biggest hoax in human history, the collusion with the Russians hoax by Trump. They were at the forefront of this whole thing. They look like fools. Sorry, folks, I had to cut a line out. I got a little crazy with the New York Times. It was a little gross. I just really dislike the New York Times. Folks, the New York Times is a rag. It's not even good. It's good for lining your bird cage. It's not even good for that. It does the bird disservice.
That's better.
Thank you. Rephrased. Sorry if you heard that. You don't even have to make that edit cute, by the way, Joe. Paula, you either. Just like chop it totally. And it'll be like and jump around. I
appreciated.
Right. You heard what I said. I can't. I'm trying to be somewhat diplomatic about this. What is going on? The Times understands their role in the collusion hoax, and they know that the real scandal is Obama and the Obama administration and the Democrats and intel officials working with Obama who were getting information from foreign partners. And the fact that Bill Barr, the Attorney General, is looking into the biggest scandal of their time bothers them. Now, Joe, as the audience ombudsman, tell me what I'm explaining makes sense. It's very simple. They don't want justice. The New York Times is not seeking the truth. They are trying to cover up the Democrats' role in Spygate. So what they're going to do is, Paula asked me this morning, she goes, well, why is this significant? The New York Times story. Because you are going to see, and I got another one by the Washington Post coming in a minute, don't go anywhere. You are going to see a series of stories. They're not really stories. They're focus group tested liberal efforts designed in the coming days to scare Bill Barr. Barr's checking with the Australians and this could benefit Trump. No, it could benefit the truth. The stories are written in conjunction with the Ukrainian whistleblower gate leak to give you the impression that it was Trump colluding with foreign officials when all Trump is trying to do with Bill Barr and the Justice Department is get to the bottom of the biggest political scandal of our time. I'm trying to think of a quick analogy to explain this. It's like if Joe robbed a bank, the accuser saw him rob a bank, and then Joe, in order to get out of robbing the bank, accuses the accuser of robbing the bank, and then the media writes stories about the accuser robbing the bank. That is exactly what's going on.
You hear it so much, it must be true.
It must be true.
It's got something to it.
Now, this story is a complete joke that Trump and Bill Barr are pressuring the Australians, and that this is some kind of a secret effort. Hat tip Benny Johnson on Twitter. Joe, what month are we in? Not a trick.
This is October,
September. Right? Are we in October?
No. Yeah, dude.
It is. It's October 1st. Man, did I ask that question on the wrong day? Seriously, I'm like losing my mind. I asked Joe if it's a trick question. I get it wrong. We are in October.
I've done it before.
This is a couple times. We've had to cut a few of those out. Me too. This is Trump in May. Supposedly, Joe, remember, this is real cryptic what's going on trying to get to the truth about the Australians. Remember Alexander Downer, the Australian diplomat who fed the FBI some of this dirt about Papadopoulos, right?
Yeah.
This is Trump back in May, which I believe is before September. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know I'm right about that one. This is Trump back in May talking to the media about this Australian effort. Apparently, he was trying to keep secret, but yet he told the media back in May, check this out.
Including his efforts to get to the origins of the Russia probe and those he believes are responsible for it.
It was an attempted coup or an attempted takedown of the President of the United States. It should never, ever happen to anybody else.
In describing his decision to allow Attorney General William Barr to use, as he sees fit, declassified material related to the Russia investigation, President Trump, who left for Japan this afternoon, made his intentions clear.
I hope he looks at the UK, and I hope he looks at Australia, And I hope he looks at Ukraine. I hope he looks at everything.
Barr, who has publicly stated his belief that spying on the 2016 Trump campaign did occur, is now tasked with sifting through years of material and deciding what can be viewed by the public in order to unravel a pressing political mystery. Exactly what were the intentions and the origins of the Russia investigation? The president's declassify it all decision was both revered and reviled along political fault lines at the Capitol. With Republican Mark Meadows tweeting, Americans are going to learn the truth about what occurred at their Justice Department. While Democrats, like Adam Schiff, call the president's choice an abuse of power meant to advance his deep state narrative and target his political rivals. A narrative spelled out in a tweet the president posted late this afternoon, a cartoon of so-called deep state operatives blaming each other for the Russia probe.
I mean, the New York Times, this is a story? The New York Times, that by the way, it was Kevin Corke, had to Fox News too as well. Obviously, it was their cut. So this is the New York Times, the alleged paper of record. Bombshell, Joe, bombshell story. Trump seeking to get to the bottom of the Australians' role in this massive spying scandal and abuse of power in our government. That's your story. Did you miss that news report? Did you miss the tweets? Like, what part of journalisming did you miss? And now, as Benny Johnson put in his tweet, he said it took me all of, what he say, about 10 seconds on a Google search to find Trump talking about an investigation the New York Times is revealing as some kind of a bombshell. So let's be clear, Joe. We know we know Ukraine. We know key Ukrainians fed information to Democrat operatives about Trump. We know that. It's been reported by left-wing Politico. Not me. Left-wing, well, it's in my books as well, but been reported by Politico. We know CNN has already reported the United Kingdom passing intelligence about Trump to the Obama administration. We know the Democrats' paid source, Christopher Steele, that they used in the middle of their election. We already know Steele is admitted to using Russian sources. We already know, number 4, that an Australian diplomat fed information to the U.S. Embassy and in turn to the FBI that they allege initiated the Trump probe. We know all about this. The New York Times is not interested in getting to the bottom of that at all. The New York Times is worried that Trump may somehow politically benefit from the truth. Folks, this is the sleaziest, most disgusting thing I've ever seen. The media, I've said to you from the start, I will repeat it. I said it on Life, Liberty, and Levin. I will always support a free media. Always. Without conditions. I mean, outside of criminality, obviously. But they have the right, with that freedom, to be stupid. To be disingenuous. To be dishonest. And to be lying frauds. And unfortunately, they've taken us up on that right. Folks, it's really gross. I said to you yesterday, I mean it. Again, I'm getting like goosebumps talking about it here. The Republic can't survive like this. It can't. I mean, what is there any integrity? Do any of you have any integrity at all? Let me get this straight. That's the story. We now know that the Obama administration spied on the Trump team. None of this is in dispute. There are serious, credible questions about the intelligence used to initiate the spying on the Trump team. We now know, as reported by you left-wing media lunatics, that this intel was provided, much of it, by foreign governments. And your concern in a headline is that we're asking about it? That's your concern. You're a disgrace. You're a disgrace to yourselves, your profession, your families, your neighbors, your neighborhoods, and everyone around you. Hang your heads in shame for the embarrassing conduct you're engaged in to cover up the biggest political scandal of our time. It's an absolute embarrassment. Now, further debunking this myth that we're pressuring the Australians for information, here's a piece by the Daily Wire. Did a decent job. The show notes, by the way, please read them at Bongino.com. It's important. Daily Wire is a piece of debunking this. Breaking. Letter from Australian official emerges that casts doubt on report from the New York Times by Ryan Saavedra. Shocker. from Saavedra's piece. Remember, Joe, the New York Times were pressuring the Australians. Shortly after the Times report was published, a source at the DOJ pushed back on it, telling Fox News the countries have been helpful. There was no pressing required. Folks, you are being lied to. They are desperately covering up. They are full-time liberal activists covering up the biggest political scandal of our time. It's not just the New York Times. I'm going to get to more of this in a second. Don't go anywhere. I've really got a lot of information to get out to you, and it's very important we get this out in today's show. Today's show also brought to you by our buddies at iTarget. Ladies and gentlemen, if you own a firearm, the iTarget Pro system is the best way to increase your proficiency with that firearm. If you own a firearm, for self-defense, you're a law enforcement officer, you're in our military, two things matter more than anything. First, safety. Second, they both matter the same, I should say. Safety and proficiency. They matter. You have to be proficient with that firearm. What's the problem? It's tough to get to the range. Sometimes we live far from the range. It can be expensive. It gets difficult. You have to clean your firearm after them. You don't have the time. What's the easiest way to handle that problem? Well, go to the range, but in between range visits, go to itargetpro.com, use promo code Dan, save 10% off, and pick up the iTarget Pro system. Well, what is it? The iTarget Pro system is a laser round. They will send you a laser round with a target that works in conjunction with a phone app. It's obviously inert. It only emits a laser. Now, when you dry fire with that laser round in the firearm you have now, no manipulations necessary. You have to buy special barrels. You don't have to do anything. It's not going to harm your firearm at all. It emits a laser. You will now see where those rounds on the target would have landed, which with dry firing, meaning pressing the trigger on a safely unloaded weapon to practice your trigger pull, you have no idea. You don't know. You guess. That's not the case anymore. They will send you this laser round. You will now see on the phone app exactly where those rounds would have landed on the target. It's important to do this, folks. This is one of the most important ways you can practice your grip, your sight alignment, your sight picture, and all the skills are necessary to be proficient. Go to itargetpro.com, itargetpro.com, use promo code Dan and save 10%. Go to itargetpro.com, use promo code Dan and save 10%. The reviews on this product, to me, have been spectacular. Please check it out, itargetpro.com. Increase your proficiency. Turn those round groupings from basketballs into golf balls in just a couple weeks. It's that good. itargetpro.com, promo code Dan for 10% off. Okay, moving on. Folks, it's not just the slimes. Obviously, the compost, the Washington compost, which again is offensive to birds to insist that you could lie in a bird cage. Even birds don't want to do their business on the Washington Post. Here's a tweet from the Washington Post, desperate again to run interference here. Shane Harris, look at that. New Attorney General William Barr has held private meetings overseas with foreign intelligence officials, including in the UK and Italy, seeking their help in investigation of the Russia investigation.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, a shocker. But by the way, he says, by Shane Harris, Devlin Barrett, me, and Matt Zapp. Devlin Barrett, where have you heard that name before? Oh, you mean the guy who got the leaks from Andy McCabe at the deputy director of the FBI? Yeah, that guy. Don't worry, Joe. They're not conflicted at all. Folks, I'm not making this up. As I'm prepping the show this morning in my notebook here, which has taken a really long time lately because there's so much coming out I have to prioritize what I talk about. I'm putting this together. I see the New York Times story from yesterday, and I even have a note here on my notebook that says, expect a series of leaks on every country involved in Spygate. They're going to filter these out one by one. The series of leaks will read like this. Nefarious meetings, implied nefarious meetings with Bill Barr and Australia. Nefarious meetings with Bill Barr, Attorney General, and Ukraine. Nefarious meetings with Bill Barr and Italy and UK. Folks, not 10 seconds later am I scrolling down Twitter and I see this Shane Harris tweet. Now, I'm not kidding. I'm not, this is not drama for effect. I'm sitting there scrolling. Here's the Washington Post piece by this clown show. All of these people, by the way, deeply involved in promoting the collusion hoax. The Washington Post. Democracy dies in the darkness. That's hysterical. They are the darkness. Here's the headline. Barr personally asked foreign officials to aid inquiry into CIA, FBI activities in 2016. Gee, you think? Why would that be unusual? If you missed yesterday's show, we showed you the left-wing headlines from CNN, from Politico, and from other outlets of foreign governments intervening in the 2016 election on behalf of the Obama administration against Trump. Why would it be unusual that an investigation into those activities would involve the Justice Department asking those countries for answers? I'm asking you a serious question. What is unusual about that? The answer is nothing. It's unusual to the Washington Post because they don't want the truth. Democracy dies in the darkness has to be the most up there with Brian Stelter on CNN's show being called reliable sources. That is the most ironic headline I've ever seen or tagline I've ever seen. They are the darkness. The Washington Post is the darkness. Folks, you are going to see a series of leaks now from deep state Justice Department, lunatic, hack, fringe leftists pretending to be nonpartisan justice officials who are going to leak to the garbage New York Times and the even bigger garbage heaping pile of steaming manure at the Washington Post over the next coming days that are meant to do one thing: tell you a story, not the story. The story is clear. Obama spied, foreign governments helped. The Washington Post isn't interested in that. They want to scare Bill Barr. So they're going to imply Barr trying to get to the truth is the real collusion story with foreign governments. Now, what is the Washington Post really worried about? Oh, ladies and gentlemen, this one is an absolute doozy. Let's go to the body of the piece. Takeaway number one from the garbage Washington Post piece. Quote, one area that has been of sustained interest to Bill Barr and John Durham, investigating this, of course, in DOJ, according to people familiar with the matter who spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss a sensitive issue, is a murky figure named Joseph Mifsud. Oh, yeah. Oh boy. Oh, really? So now, instead of the Washington Post, I'm going to get to the second part of this in a second. I want, again, the Washington Post telling a story, not the story, because they are the darkness. Please remember, regular listeners, I'm sorry if this comes off as slightly redundant, but for those of you who tune in once in a while or tune in on big news days, understand this. The Joseph Mifsud story and who he really is, please get this into your melons, is the key to unraveling this whole story. If the Democrats' version of who Joseph Mifsud is true, then their Russian collusion story, Trump colluded with the Russians, or someone on the Trump team did, has some meat on the bone. If it's not true, like I know it's not who they say Joseph Mifsud is, then the Trump team was set up. Again, Paula asked me this morning why this was so significant. Please, this is not a small thing. If Joseph Mifsud, who meets Papadopoulos and allegedly tells him about some emails the Russians have on Hillary, if he is a Russian agent, then the Democrats and their media hacks who promoted the hoax can at least say, well, the Russians tried to do something with the Trump team, Papadopoulos. Joe, please, does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Yep.
That's their story. That would be devastating. At least, again, I don't. It doesn't implicate Trump, but it would at least suggest that the Russians had tried to reach out through Mifsud to Papadopoulos, and they would say, okay, we screwed up. It wasn't real collusion, but at least the Russians tried.
Yes.
If Mifsud is not a Russian agent and was not working for the Russians when he reached out for the Trump team, but was working with Western, friendly intelligence agents to the United States, ladies and gentlemen, it was a setup. There is no gray area. There's no option C. There is no option D. There is no gray area. Either the Democrats have some semblance of truth to their initial story, or the Democrats were involved in the biggest political setup in American history. Do you now understand why who Joseph Mifsud was is key, and why the Washington Post I'll get to this in the next quote from the piece in a second, is desperate to paint anyone trying to figure out who Mifsud is as a conspiracy theorist.
Mm-hmm.
If you wouldn't mind, put up quote number 2 from the Washington Compost. Quote, since then, the professor, Mifsud, has disappeared from public life, leading to a host of theories about him and his whereabouts. While court papers filed in Mueller's investigation suggest Mifsud operated in Russia's interests, oh, did they word that so delicately? Conservatives and conspiracy theorists have suggested he was instead aligned with Western intelligence agencies. We've done that? You notice how they leave out that Mifsud's own lawyer, Stephen Rowe, has said he was a Western intelligence friendly. We didn't say that. They said it.
Yeah.
I'm so sick of the filth operating in the media today. I am so sick of them disparaging honest reporting, honest investigations. I am so sick of you disgusting humanoids disparaging the character of good people while you sit on your democracy dies in the darkness perch. You people make me sick. You make me physically ill. You are such pathetic liars. The guy's lawyer, his lawyer has already said he's a Western intelligence asset. He's in pictures with high-ranking Western intelligence assets. What part of that did you miss, you fools? Are you not curious why Joseph Mifsud's lawyer is telling the entire world that your story about him being a Russian asset isn't true? And Mueller's report does not say he's a Russian asset. Notice how they cleverly word that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What does it say, Joe? It says Mifsud has Russian connections. What the hell does that mean? I went to Russia with the Secret Service. Do I have Russian connections? Joe's been to Russia. Does he have Russian connections? Mueller's report, what the left claims to be an exhaustive analysis, makes no claim whatsoever that what the Washington Post here is implying is true. These people are grotesque. And listen, I will say again, I will always, because I believe in our Constitution, support the free press. But you are free to be gross, disgusting people. And you have taken us up on the offer. You dare impugn our character? Me, Jeff Carlson, Chuck Ross, Molly Hemingway, Sarah Carter, John Solomon, who have gotten to the truth while you lunatics and your democracy dies in the darkness bullshit. You impugn our character? When you have lied to us for 2 years, you disgraceful fools, conspiracy theorists? We're the ones saying it? Notice how the filthy Washington Post leaves every relevant detail out there. Mifsud's in pictures with Western intelligence friendlies. Mifsud disappeared after the FBI interviewed him. I thought he was a Russian asset. Why didn't they arrest him? Mifsud was in the Capitol, the U.S. Capitol, in January of 2017. Why wasn't he arrested? He's disappeared from public life. You're not curious why? His lawyer has said he's a Western intelligence friendly. You're not curious? You really do disgust me. It's really gross. And it's a joke. It's a total joke. Washington Post cannot go out of business fast enough. Pravda-like Russian stooges, every single one of you. And you dare impugn our integrity. All right, I got a lot more to get to. My next segment, it's going to be important, and it may not be cute for everybody, and I'm sorry, but I think the White House made a big mistake. Don't go anywhere. I'll explain in a second. All right, today's show also brought to you by buddies at Harry's. I know, where's my Harry's? I usually keep the razor out. Sorry. Folks, I shave with Harry's. And the best part about Harry's is for the price, you are not going to find a better blade, a better shave, a closer shave. And the benefit to me is I have to shave twice with those older garbage razors with terrible blades because they just don't get close enough. Or they get close enough for one shave and then you got to throw it out. That is not the case with Harry's. I do a media at night for Fox and I do my show in the morning. So with Harry's, I only have to shave once. You shave twice, you get that really awful razor burn. It's terrible. Humans have been shaving for over 5,000 years, from flint tools to shark teeth to the first copper razor. We always knew a great shave comes down to really simple process. A sharp, durable blade. That's really it. It's not complicated. The ancient Greeks didn't need flexi balls, hypersonic drives, flux capacitors, heated handles, and neither do you. You need a good blade at a quality price. Harry's focuses on quality that matters for a close, comfortable shave. Notice, no razor burn. And they never upcharge you. Join the 10 million who've tried Harry's. Claim your special trial offer by going to harrys.com/Bongino. I love Harry's. They return to the essential. Durable, quality blades at the best price. Just $2 per blade. You're not going to get a better deal. To keep prices low, they cut out the middleman. They own their own world-class blade factory in Germany. It's been making some of the best razor blades in the world for 99 years. They can provide great quality at factory direct prices. It's also a brand you can be proud of. 1% of sales are donated to organizations that provide access to mental health care for men. And there's no risk for you for trying it out. If you don't love your shave, let them know. They will give you a full refund. We love Harry's. Joe loves Harry's. Right, Joe? I know you're a big fan.
Yes, he does.
Listeners of my show can redeem their Harry's trial set at harrys.com/Bongino. Here's what you'll get. A weighted ergonomic handle for a firm grip, a 5-blade razor with a lubricating strip and a trimmer blade, rich lathering shave gel with aloe to keep your skin nice and hydrated. You don't get any razor burn there. And a travel blade cover to keep your razor dry and easy on the go. Go to harrys.com/Bongino, HARRYS, harrys.com/Bongino to start shaving better today. Can't recommend them highly enough. We love Harry's on the show. Thanks for giving us a close shave. We appreciate it. All right.
Sir.
Now, getting back to the uncomfortable portion of the show.
Okay.
Folks, we all make mistakes. And although I think it was done in really decent, good intentions, and I mean that, I think the Trump team made a catastrophic error, which is coming back to haunt them right now. When the Trump presidency started, there was an effort there by some to bring in kind of a team of rivals. The Lincoln-like approach, the Obama approach, where he hired who was his rival, Hillary Clinton. So we hired her.
Remember that.
And this is why I want to be. I'm not. Please don't mistake this. And I'm not. This isn't like virtue signaler trying to put lipstick on a pig or anything. I'm just being candid. This is not an approach that was original to the Trump administration. They will typically bring in political opponents because they're thinking about building coalitions for the next election. I mean, Obama wants Hillary voters, right? If he was going to be reelected. So Lincoln did it as far back. There was a book out there they called Team of Rivals. I'm pretty sure that's the title. I read it a while ago, where he brought in some of his political opponents as well. It serves two purposes. Number one, it gives you an opposition political view. Obviously, if they're political opponents, some of the things they felt about were different. So it's good to get differing opinions. Pretty clear, right? I mean, it's done in business all the time.
Yeah,
you bring in the Minority Report, like the Tom Cruise
all
movie,
the
right?
time.
Secondly, again, it builds coalitions for re-election. You want those voters. Everybody does this. The Bush administration, Obama, again, going all the way back to Lincoln. It's not uncommon. The Trump team did it too. I'm not knocking them. I'm simply suggesting to you that this mistake looking back on it was clearly a mistake now. And I think the reason it was different under Trump is because the people that were brought in were never there to do either one of those things. They were not there to give an honest political back and forth about potentially different opinions on a political matter, number one. And they were certainly not there to help him build a coalition of re-election. They were there to do one thing, Joe. Destroy the president. Now, I'm going to bring this up in terms of a specific appointment that was made. And I heard it last night. Chris Hahn, who I typically debate, was on Martha McCallum's show last night debating Geraldo, which is interesting. Like, I debate both of them, and they were debating each other. It was like remember Seinfeld? Worlds are colliding. I couldn't handle it. I had to turn the show off. But I heard, I'm not kidding. I'm messing with it. Hahn was on there, and Hahn said at one point, talking about the Inspector General, who is now investigating this alleged whistleblower complaint that's really a deep stater trying to destroy Trump, right? And Hahn brought up this talking point I hear all the time. Well, Trump appointed the guy. Okay, that doesn't mean everything he did was right. Now, I want to show you the whitehouse.gov appointment. And this is what I mean by trying to bring in potential political rivals and insiders in an effort to kind of get those. This was a mistake. It was the November 2nd, 2017, talking about key administrative posts. I want you to pay specific attention to this appointment because this is the ICIG, the Inspector General, who is the one who deemed this whistleblower hoax an urgent concern. Michael K. Atkinson of Maryland to be named Inspector General of Intelligence under the ODNI. Listen to this. Mr. Atkinson has served as Acting Deputy Assistant Attorney General and Senior Counsel to the Assistant Attorney General of National Security Division of the DOJ since 2016. A lot of you watching going, okay, so?
Well, I'm waiting.
I know you are, Daddy-O.
Mm-hmm.
Folks, who was he senior counsel to in the National Security Division? Atkinson. Again, the guy who deemed this whistleblower hoax an urgent concern. Well, the person he was senior counsel to, who was running the National Security Division at that time, was no other than John Carlin. Oh, this is one of those remember the names moments.
Uh-huh.
What do I always tell you on the show? Remember the names, because when the names creep up, one of the best investigative tips I ever got is memorize the names in your criminal case when I was a federal agent, because the names will creep up later in conversation, and if you don't have the relationships on the tip of your tongue and the front of your cerebral cortex, it's going to bypass you how this person was involved. Some of you may be ringing a bell right now who John Carlin was. Mm-hmm. John Carlin ran the National Security Division in the end years of the Obama administration of the Department of Justice. Why is Carlin an important figure in Spygate? The Inspector General, keep in mind, who made sure, Joe, that this urgent concern whistleblower hoax case about the Ukraine phone call with Trump made it to Adam Schiff, the same guy, who, by the way, is appointed by Trump. That's not in question. Hahn was not wrong. But what I'm trying to suggest to you is, although Christopher Hahn wasn't wrong by pointing it out, whoever recommended this guy be appointed made an abominable mistake. This guy was the lawyer to Carlin, who was running the National Security Division, who had one of the final sign-offs on the Woods procedure verifying that the FISA warrant on Trump was in fact true. Let me walk you through that slowly, because details matter here. I got another wrinkle on this in a moment. The current Inspector General, who fast-tracked this urgent concern whistleblower hoax, there's nothing wrong with that phone call with Trump to the Ukraine, nothing. Fast-tracked it to Adam Schiff, conveniently kept it from the Republican-led Senate committee first, sent it to Adam Schiff and his House-led committee. Atkinson, who, yes, unfortunately was appointed by Trump, used to be the lawyer for the guy who basically signed off on the warrant to spy on Trump and said the false dossier stuff was verified. Folks, this was a catastrophic error. Again, I'm not blaming the president. This has been done before. There's nothing unusual. And I'm reasonably confident that the president trusted people who told him, well, listen, we need people with experience in government. This guy may be the guy. I'm simply suggesting to you, we don't do golden calves here. This was a horrendous mistake. The ICIG, who fast-tracked this, worked for Carlin, who made sure that the information used to spy on Trump was deemed verified when it wasn't. And who also was John Carlin? He used to be Bob Mueller's chief of staff. The same Bob Mueller who ran a 600-plus day witch hunt against Donald Trump, investigating a hoax he knew was a hoax in July of 2017, as I clearly lay out in my new book, Exonerated. There is no way he doesn't know, 2 months into his appointment, Bob Mueller, that this whole collusion thing is a hoax. So, ladies and gentlemen, just to tie this up for you, the guy appointed as the ICIG to investigate these things, yes, by the Trump administration, in a terrible personnel decision, was actually the lawyer for the guy who signed off on the information to spy on Trump, his division, and used to be the chief of staff for Bob Mueller, who engaged in the 2-year witch hunt. If you're scratching your head right now, ladies and gentlemen, so am I. Now, there's a lesson to be learned here, folks. People make mistakes. I'm not piling on them. But if we don't recognize these mistakes, that people, personnel division mistakes that were made, this is going to be a catastrophe for hopefully the next 5 years of the Trump administration if he gets reelected. We have got to clean this mess up. If Trump is reelected, it is time for mass firings, folks. Oh, but the media is going to lose their minds. Folks, who gives a damn anymore? Pardon my language. Who cares? I just demonstrated to you how the media is a Pravda-like propaganda machine in full cover-up mode. I don't care, and neither should you, about what the lunatics in the left-wing media think. It doesn't matter. If we are ever going to right this ship and authentically drain this fetid, stinking, methane, butane-infused swamp of deep state swamp rats, anyone with ties to this prior administration and the hackery that went on, I'm sorry, but you need to go stat. Got to move on, but I just want to sum this up for you again because it's very important. The Inspector General, it's supposed to be nonpartisan, who fast-tracked a hoax complaint to leftist liar Adam Schiff on the House committee while not sending it to the Republican-led Senate committee, who claims to be a nonpartisan actor, was the lawyer for the guy that approved the spying on the Trump team, who was also Bob Mueller's chief of staff. That actually happened. All right, we have one final sponsor today, and I want to get to this video because it's terrific by Matt Gaetz. It's definitely worth your time. If I can get to it, Elizabeth Warren, and again, Biden's story blowing up. Please don't go anywhere. It's important. We got a new sponsor today, Biz Counsel. Hey, in the beginning stages of your business, you may have cut some corners to save money. Yeah, it happens. In the back of your head, were you thinking, I know I should do this the proper way, but when I prove things work, then I'll do it right. Well, that's a mistake. Now you have a real business, and you have something to protect. Now it's time to have a dedicated business attorney by your side. Folks, Biz Counsel. I want to introduce you to our friends at Biz Counsel. They let you have your own dedicated business attorney for all your business legal needs for a fraction of what it would normally cost. Biz Counsel comes from some of the same guys who started LegalZoom. Now they're reimagining how quality legal help can help you for your established business. We're talking businesses who've been around for a couple of years, are generating revenue, and may have employees. Here's how your business benefits from Biz Counsel. You get unlimited consultations with an attorney who's dedicated to you. It means if you have a question today, tomorrow, or next month, you can pick up the phone and easily get answers from an attorney you trust. Then, depending on your plan, you can also get two free contact reviews every single month. Be confident what's in your contracts. Be sure your business is protected. For creating agreements from scratch, you get discounted flat fee prices so you'll know in advance what your document is going to cost. Ladies and gentlemen, for my listeners only, get your first month of Biz Counsel for free when you go to bizcounsel.com/Dan. Biz Counsel, B-I-Z, Counsel, COUNSEL.com/Dan. You're dedicated. Don't mess around. Don't mess around with second-rate legal services. Your dedicated business attorney at bizcounsel.com/Dan. That's B-I-Z, bizcounsel.com/Dan. Don't waste time. Get on that today. Protect your business with bizcounsel.com/Dan. Go check it out. Welcome to Biz Counsel. We're happy to have you on board. Great service there. Okay. I just wanted to show you a quick ad by Matt Gaetz, Republican congressman from the Panhandle, Florida, District 1. He did a great job. The last few days we've been covering this because it's only the most important story of our time right now because they're using it to foster impeachment. The narrative that we know the Democrats colluded with foreigners, the media is trying to switch it to Trump colluded with foreigners. So Matt Gaetz put this up on his Twitter feed. Here's Matt Gaetz who uncovering evidence of Adam Schiff actually on a phone call with Ukrainians trying to get information from Trump. This is absolutely priceless. Check out this clip. Hat tip Matt Gaetz.
What we have seen in that call record is a president of the United States use the full weight of his office to manufacture dirt on his opponent and interfere in our election.
So you have recordings of both Sobchak and Buseva where they're discussing the compromising material on Mr. Trump?
Absolutely.
Well, obviously we would welcome a chance to get copies of those recordings.
It is illegal, improper, a violation of oath, a violation of his duty to defend our elections and our Constitution for the president to merely ask for foreign interference.
I mean, so that was the Schiff sandwich. The Gaetz clip, he opens it up with Schiff on one of the Sunday shows saying how horrible it is to ask Ukrainians for information on your political opponents. He ends it by saying the mere ask is devastating. The mere ask. And in the middle of that is him on a call with two Russian pranksters pretending to be Ukrainians talking about Olga Buzova. And he goes, it would be really great to get that information. Folks, these people are total frauds. The media, Schiff, these Democrat hacks, they are complete, utter liars. They don't have an ounce of integrity. I'm telling you, I'm not making this up. I feel bad for you. If you are being suckered by the sleazy techniques used by these people to impugn the character of others, they don't have an ounce of integrity in them. Not one. This is a joke. And the joke is on you. It gets worse. So Biden, over the past few days, Joe Biden, former vice president, current failing candidate for president 2020. His son's suspicious business dealings in Ukraine have been a story in the news on this show for the last few days. His son's appointment to a Ukrainian natural gas company while Biden was over in Ukraine talking about natural gas. Oh, gee. Nothing to see there, folks. But Biden's defense, Joe, is pretty clear.
Yeah.
Joey B's defense is, hey, man, I didn't talk to my kid at all about any of his Ukrainian business deals. Yeah, sure. Okay. Okie dokes. Well, Fox News has a piece up at foxnews.com. Hat tip the Tucker Carlson show as well, which uncovered this last night. Joe and Hunter Biden seen golfing with Ukraine gas executive back in 2014. Photo show. That's just crazy. How did that happen? I thought he, but enough to Joe. Listen, man. Joe, stop jumping the gun. I know you're I know you right now.
Yeah.
You're saying, Dan, it's no big deal. It's his kid. It's 2014. It's the same Ukrainian gas company board member, Devin Archer. It's innocent, right, Joe? I know that's what you're saying.
That's what I'm
of course,
saying.
I'm messing with
you're
Joe.
right. Yeah.
Folks. I mean, for those regulars here, you're probably sensing my frustration. I'm not like, I know what Paul is thinking too. You're probably thinking you've been like skipping and stumbling over. It's not. I promise you I'm crystal clear in my head. I'm being candid with you, though. I'm so frustrated today with this show. Not the content. That it's getting hard for me to contain my rage because I don't want to scream at you for an hour. It's annoying. But I'm just being honest with you. I'm having a tough time containing this. So let me get this straight. Just to kind of spin back to the beginning of the show. The democracy dies in the darkness, Washington Post, an alleged newspaper, is not even remotely curious about the central key figure in the Russian collusion hoax, Joseph Mifsud's lawyer, saying that he worked for friendly governments and this could be a setup, right? They're not curious about that at all. But they're willing to take on its face Joe Biden's claim that he never talked to his kid about the $1 million gas deal to sit on the board of Burisma he got. And the fact that they're in a photo in 2014 with the partner, Devon Archer, involved in the deal right around the time the deal's happening, golfing on a golf course. None of this is even remotely. You're just going to take at face value that that's true? Now, in case you doubt me, hat tip Fox News Peter Doocy. Here's Peter Doocy at Fox News asking Joe Biden if he's ever discussed this Ukrainian gas deal done with Hunter Biden and Devon Archer in the picture with Joe Biden in 2014. By the way, that article will be at Bongino.com if you want to read it. Here's Joe Biden categorically denying any conversations with his son about the gas deal with the guy they were in the picture with in 2014. Check this out.
How many times have you ever spoken to your son about his overseas business dealings?
I've never spoken to my son about his overseas business dealings.
Hunter says he and his dad only spoke once about Ukraine. Dad said, "I hope you know what you're doing." And I said, "I do."
What are you going to do?
I don't know, Donnie.
I don't know.
We need Lefty in here. I'm known all over. You ask anyone, Lefty. You go out to Brooklyn, you ask Lefty. I'm known all over. This is like a Rico thing. Not Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite. Like racketeer-induced corrupt organization. So, Biden, I don't talk to my son about the business deal he had in Ukraine that happened after I was in Ukraine with a natural gas company that employed my son even though I was in Ukraine talking about natural gas. I didn't say anything. We didn't know. We were just crossing paths, Joe. No one discussed it ever, me or my kid, ever. Yet Hunter Biden told the New Yorker, as you see in that cut there, told the New Yorker he did talk to his dad, but Biden said he didn't. And now we see them in a picture with Devon Archer. Who's Devon Archer? Joe, do you remember Devon Archer? Devon Archer. Remember the names. Devon Archer's also gets a board seat on Burisma, the Ukrainian natural gas company, with Joe Biden's kid in 2014, who happens to be in the picture golfing with Lunch Bucket Joe B. Devon Archer is a friend and business associate of who? Gosh, I'm trying to remember. Who was it? Oh, John Kerry. Yes, John Kerry, former Secretary of State and Democrat nominee for the presidency. Democracy dies in the darkness, folks. Remember that. The Washington Post said so. What a joke. Now you see what these lunatics at the Post and the Times are desperate to cover up. So disgusting. All right. 2 more stories outside because there is a lot going on, and that's why I said today's show was really loaded, stacked. There's a quick one that just, move out of New York City if you haven't yet. I'm really sorry. I grew up in New York. There are great people there. A lot of great conservatives showed up in Huntington, Long Island, which is outside of New York City, for my book signing. By the way, another book signing. Paul will kill me if I don't say it. My last one, Friday, October 4th, the Barnes & Noble in the Villages in Florida. What time is it, Paula? 4 o'clock? There you go. Thank you. See, she's always on the ball. And if you want an autographed copy of my book, they're selling out, folks. That's not like some infomercial pitch. I'm just telling you, they only have limited stock available. If you want a signed copy of my book, it's not a book plate. It's an actual book. Go to Premier Collectibles, premiercollectibles.com/exonerated. premiercollectibles.com/exonerated. They had a ton of sales yesterday. They're running out. They're not going to be around for long, so check those out. But there are good people in New York, obviously, but I can't suggest to you with a straight face that you stay there. You are under relentless attack. Here's a story at Reason.com. Will be in the show notes today. This is not a joke, by the way. This is not the Babylon Bee or the Onion. New York City declares using the term illegal alien, Joe, can result in a $250,000 fine. Robbie Suave, Reason.com. Now, to be clear, because we don't do fake news like the Washington Post, it doesn't apply to conversations on the street. If you were to say to someone, Joe, are you an illegal alien? Not that makes it any better, but again, I don't do hyperbole for effect like the Washington Post. It applies in the workplace, in tenant-landlord relationships, and in public accommodations. Doesn't make it any better. I'm just suggesting to you that it's still bad, but I don't want anyone getting ahead of themselves on the story. But this serves 2 purposes. This draconian anti-free speech socialist, communist-like rule, where the speech police are back, the Orwellian speech police. Again, it benefits them in the culture war, because if you say the term illegal alien, which is just a term of fact, if you're here, an alien to the country illegally, you are an illegal alien. There's something, it's not a pejorative, it's a statement of fact. In the culture war, they win, because as we've discussed with the language wars, when they declare terms off limits, the left, unilaterally, if you say that term, you're automatically an istophobic, phobophobe, racist, misogynist, xenophobe, you know the list. So it benefits them in the culture war, because they get to go, oh, look at that guy, racist, there you go. Secondly, making this illegal now has an obvious benefit. You get to legally silence anyone else in a political, not an emotional debate. Seriously, what if you're debating someone and you're in a public accommodation somewhere? You're debating someone and you start talking about illegal aliens. They're going to come and lock you up? You may say, oh, that's silly. Is it? Are you sure? Did you read the article? Again, I don't do hyperbole. I'm asking a serious question. What if you ask that person, well, are you an illegal alien? And you're trying to, in other words, you're trying to get to the motives of why they're saying what they're saying. It's a dead serious question. Can you be arrested? It's against the law now. No, that's not going to happen. Really? Because we thought criminalizing speech wasn't going to happen too. Clearly you missed that boat. Dangerous times, folks. Dangerous times. Now, my final story of the day. This is kind of unintentionally hilarious, but I want to leave you in a little bit better mood here. And just want to wrap up kind of the initial story in the beginning so I don't leave you really down in the emotional dumps. I don't believe Bill Barr is going to be the Attorney General intimidated by any of this crap by the time. So I don't want you to fret too much. I simply pointed out the Times and the slimy Washington Post stories in the beginning to show you how activists in the media who pretend to be journalists are trying to intimidate Barr. I think Barr gives exactly zero. You get the hint about any of this stuff. He's going to get to the bottom. So don't worry too much. I just want to point it out to show you how frightened they are of the truth. Democracy dies in the darkness. Sure. Elizabeth Warren, current frontrunner for the Democrat nomination for the presidency. This is an unintentionally hilarious clip of her giving a go at comedy. Listen to her take a shot at this specific group of people and their success. Yet she leaves something out at the end, which I'll point out with this Forbes article coming up in a second. Check this cutout. This is great.
The way I see it is I get it. There are going to be rich people and there are going to be not rich people, also known as poor people, right? And middle class people and hardworking people. And I get it that rich people may have more shoes than you have. They may have more cars than you have. Shoot, they may have more houses than you have. But they should not have a bigger share of this democracy than you have.
Okay.
Any thoughts on that, Joe? No, that's good. Just get that. Do me a favor. Cut that grunt. I want that grunt for future use. We can use it after Donnie Brown.
Yes.
That's perfect. Paula, can you put up that Forbes article, please, if you don't mind? Now, for those of you watching on the YouTube, you get to read ahead. YouTube.com/Bongino. Sometimes I just enjoy listening to Joe in the background. I don't know what he's doing. What is he doing back there? It's like, Joe, the meatloaf. Because sometimes I can't see him on the screen, so I don't actually know what he's doing back there. Just like Will Ferrell doesn't know what his mom's doing with the meatloaf. Forbes title: How Elizabeth Warren Built a $12 million Fortune by Michaela Tindera. Again, folks, vote for whoever you want for in the election. Just do what you. I'm not here to lecture you, okay? I'm here to put out facts, data, stories that matter, things that are happening in real time. Just know this. The entire left is populated by hypocritical frauds who will openly lie to you about anything and everything, conveniently leaving out that the class of people Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders and others are condemning, millionaires and billionaires, the class of people they're condemning are them. How that doesn't bother you is genuinely perplexing to me. Because the things I believe in for everyone, not just select groups of people. These people are total frauds. Rich people think differently and have more shoes. You're the rich person. You're a 0.00001%er. Total phony. Oh, been an infuriating show. All right, folks, thanks again for tuning in. Please, if you don't mind, subscribe to my YouTube channel. We're trying to get to those 300,000 subscribers. We're moving up quick. YouTube.com/Bongino. Of course, it's free. You can subscribe to the audio podcast on Apple Podcasts, iHeart, SoundCloud, and elsewhere. We really appreciate your support. Those subscriptions drive us up the charts. We had the best Monday ever yesterday. Thanks to you. Really appreciate it. Please pick up a copy of my new book, Exonerated. We're still in the top 20 on Amazon. Thanks to you. Appreciate that, folks. I'll see you all tomorrow. All right, today's show is brought to you by our buddies at Brickhouse Nutrition. They make one of the finest nutrition supplements out there. Hey, here it is. Field of Greens. Field of Greens. Now, you'll notice that's empty. Why is that empty? Just like my bottle of Foundation, their other great product. I use this. This is the finest fruit and vegetable supplement out there. This is real food, Field of Greens. This is not cheap extract. This is real ground up, healthy fruits and vegetables, the key to a long, great, healthy life. Your cognitive abilities look better, feel better, perform better. Field of Greens, it's your fruit and vegetable insurance. I love it. Use the product twice a day. It tastes great. This is real, healthy, high-quality fruits and vegetables. Think of it as your fruit and vegetable insurance for a long and healthy life. Go to brickhousenutrition.com/Dan. Pick up a jar of Field of Greens. This is empty. I need some more because we use it, me and my wife too. Field of Greens, available at brickhousenutrition.com/Dan. That's brickhousenutrition.com/Dan. Pick it up today.
You just heard The Dan Bongino Show. You can also get Dan's podcasts on iTunes or SoundCloud. And follow Dan on Twitter 24/7 at DBongino.